I want to bring up the issue of transparency and attorney fees. Needless to say, I'm disappointed the council did not choose to override the mayor's veto on this issue. I read in the paper, read an editorial, also got a letter from Mr. Randy Hammer asking the city to do an independent legal investigation of Mr. Cosson. So I understand that the law firm or attorney who's doing that investigation is Mr. Larkin with Allen, Norton and Blue. Well, when I asked Mr. Baker, and I think I asked Attorney Messer and Attorney Rusty Wells for any documents evidencing an agreement with Mr. Larkin to do that, I was told that there was no written agreement. And I understand from communicating with these three gentlemen that the city uses Allen, Norton, and Blue as our labor attorneys. However, when I ask for a contract or some evidence of a contract or agreement with them, no one seems to be able to find it. Now, I understand from talking with Mr. Wells that we have some historical problems with Fortis. Apparently, we've had contracts for years with certain legal firms. We use them, but can't find contracts with these firms. And that really bothers me. Had we had the transparency and legal fee ordinance, this issue would not even be here again. But what I'm concerned about, and I'm going to ask that council ask or agree that I'd like an update from Mr. Barker regarding how to get these things, these services in writing, and also what is the problem with Fortis. I understand that it's not a very well organized system for finding contracts and finding other types of documents. So I just think that the citizens deserve better transparency and accountability in government. When we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every year for a law firm and don't even have anything in writing, that's unconscionable to me. Anyway, I'm just I do believe that Mr. Barker is trying to address that issue. So maybe I could ask him to turn it over to him.
Okay, yes, turn it over for, yes, go ahead, Mr. Barker.
Yes, Madam President. I have looked into the issue of contracts and discussed that with the City Attorney's Office, and we're in the process of discussing that and with the legal firms, and I hope to have that resolved by the first of the year.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wells.
If I may, thank you, Madam President. Follow on Councilman Myers' comments. We did have a conversation about that, and I've spent some time over the last few days addressing the issue that she raised by email. But just specifically to what she was speaking about, what I've determined is I was here in the 1980s, 1985 and 86, when we engaged the firm of Allen, Norton and Blue. Back then it was called Hogg, Allen, Norton, Rice and Blue, and with Hogg having 2 G's. And so if you queried Fortis on Allen, Norton and Blue, you wouldn't find the older documents. Well, we did query that and came up with a variety of correspondence with the firm that is in Fortis back during the year. We transitioned from a Tampa law firm in late 1985 to the Tallahassee office of what today is Allen, Norton, and Blue. I know that we had contracts with them. I know that Mr. Caton, my predecessor, had contracts with them. I know that there were retainers paid to the firm by the HR department of the city at that time, annual retainers that brought us down to discount rates and some free consultation that was very beneficial and has been beneficial through the years. Those records were, I now realized or have learned in consultation with the staff of the city attorney's office that has been there for 30-plus years as well, that those records were, as a matter of the state archive, the Department of State schedules, destroyed. And when they reached an age of destruction in order to make room for new files, they were destroyed. This happened during the time before we started scanning documents into Fortis. And so that's what happened with the original Allen, Norton, and Blue contract, as near as I can find out from querying the city staff and looking and for having people better at it than I am, look in Fortis. And so while it's not accurate to say we've never had those contracts, they do exist. And also I believe that you'll find the same with the other firm that we've routinely used for decades, a local firm that provides you with defense for your self-insured automobile claims, Minor Herald's law firm. And so that's the story of that. But as I say, I think no one disagrees with Councilman Myers' observation that we should have these arrangements reduced to contract form, and I know that Mr. Parker is working on that with Mr. Messer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Civic announcements, any? Okay. Seeing none, there are no cards for board phone. We are adjourned.